She was just a hotel cleaner. One cruel splash changed her life, and the woman who mocked her had no clue someone powerful was watching. It started on a rainy Tuesday in Chicago. The sky was still a bruised gray from last night's storm, and the pavement shimmered with leftover puddles. Jade Monroe, 24, walked the same route she always did. Worn sneakers barely keeping out the damp, breakfast in a plastic bag, and a pair of old cleaning gloves tucked under her arm. Her uniform was ironed, but fraying at the seams. She wasn't a nobody, not in her eyes. She was a sister, a fighter, and today, a woman just trying to make it to her job at the Lexington Grand Hotel without being late. But life wasn't about to let her pass quietly. A pearl-white Tesla SUV screeched down the street, tires cutting through a deep puddle. Before Jade could even flinch, splash! A tsunami of cold, dirty water slammed into her body. Her face, clothes, breakfast, soaked in shame. The SUV slowed. The tinted window rolled down halfway. Behind it sat a woman with red lips and sharper cheekbones, laughing. "Try not to stand where the rain lands, honey," she sneered, before gunning the engine and speeding off. Jade didn't cry. She just kept walking. But someone was watching. From across the street, in the back seat of a sleek black Lincoln, Cameron Blackwood lowered his sunglasses. The young tech mogul, known for avoiding cameras and making billion-dollar deals in silence, had seen everything, and more importantly, he remembered faces. He tapped his phone. "Find out who she is. I want everything by noon." Jade clocked in late to the Lexington's employee entrance. Her hair clung to her face. Her uniform was ruined. Her shoes squished. Her manager, Mr. Holbrook, didn't even flinch. "You look a mess. Get to work." Jade nodded, quietly swallowing the ache in her throat. She changed into her backup uniform and grabbed her mop. No one offered help. No one asked questions. But Jade had bills to pay and a little brother named Mason waiting at home. So she kept her chin up and pushed her cart down the marble hallway. 30 floors above her, Cameron sat in his Chicago office, sunlight pouring through floor-to-ceiling windows. His assistant handed him a manila file. Jade Monroe, age 24, works 2 cleaning jobs, lives in Southside, legal guardian to her 10-year-old brother. Mother passed in 2022. A photo showed Jade smiling softly beside a gap-toothed boy. Cameron stared at the image longer than he meant to. "She didn't deserve that," he muttered. His assistant raised a brow. "Want me to handle it?" "No," Cameron said. "Let's watch for now." Across town, Sabrina West, influencer and daughter of Chicago real estate royalty, twirled in front of a penthouse mirror. Her phone buzzed constantly. Fans, stylists, brand deals. She posed, perfect and untouchable. "That girl was in the way," Sabrina scoffed. "She should be glad I didn't hit her shoes." Her assistant chuckled nervously. Sabrina never looked back. She'd spent her whole life believing some people were born to be stepped on. At noon, Jade ate alone behind the hotel in a quiet alley. Dry bread and a bottle of water. She prayed silently over her food. Nearby, a man walked by in a hoodie and sunglasses. Cameron. He didn't speak. He didn't stare. But he watched. There was no makeup on her face. No glamour. Just grace in the middle of pain. She reminded him of his mother. Later that night, Cameron made his first move. The next morning, Jade found a brown paper bag in her locker. Inside, a pair of new gloves, a warm breakfast sandwich, a folded note. For the woman who works with grace, even when the world isn't kind. Jade's lips trembled. She looked around. No one claimed it. She hadn't smiled in days. Today she did. Meanwhile, Sabrina was on national TV flaunting her new designer line. She grinned on camera, but behind the scenes, she snapped at her staff. My chai was lukewarm. Fire the new girl. No one argued. That was Sabrina's world, polished, cold, and hollow. Back at the Lexington, Cameron made another call. "I want her promoted." Quietly. The next day, Jade was sweeping the lobby when Mr. Holbrook approached. "Jade Monroe." "Why, yes, sir. You've been reassigned to the executive floor. Better pay. Less grime. Starts tomorrow." Jade's mouth fell open. "I didn't apply." "Doesn't matter. It's done." Whispers followed her out of the room. Executive floor? She must be seeing someone up top. Jade said nothing. She didn't understand why her life was shifting, but she felt something she hadn't felt in years. Hope. Cameron started showing up more, always disguised. He watched her work, her poise, the way she greeted guests with kindness even when they ignored her. He finally spoke to her one morning. "Excuse me," he said, holding a newspaper. "Can you point me to the Sky Lounge?" "Sure, sir. I'll walk you there," Jade replied. As they walked, he asked, "How long you been here?" "Almost 2 years. It's not glamorous, but it keeps us afloat. Do you like it?" She smiled faintly. "Nobody dreams of cleaning, but I take pride in doing it well." He paused. "You do more than well. You inspire." She gave a small laugh and thanked him, still unaware of who he really was. That evening, Sabrina received a photo in her mail, grainy but clear. It was the moment she splashed Jade. A sticky note attached. "Some people don't forget." Sabrina went cold. For the first time, she felt unseen and watched. Back at the hotel, Jade found fresh flowers in her locker. No note. Staff gossip intensified. "She's sleeping with someone. It's unfair." Still, Jade worked hard, spoke little, and smiled often. One day, Cameron requested Jade personally for a private lounge. When she entered, he looked up. "No cleaning today. Just wanted to say thanks for being kind when no one's looking." She smiled politely. "That's just who I try to be." Then he asked, "If you could do anything, what would it be?" Jade hesitated. "I'd study hospitality. I want to manage a place like this someday. But school costs money, and life is survival right now." Cameron nodded slowly, storing the words like gold. He smiled. "Then maybe it's time someone helped you thrive." Jade didn't know what that meant. Not yet. But her life was about to change forever. Later that evening, back in his penthouse overlooking downtown Chicago, Ethan sat at his desk, Emma's file still open beside him. He scrolled through college programs in hospitality management, cross-referencing costs and locations. He paused at a small but reputable school in Evanston, just outside the city. His phone buzzed. It was a message from his assistant. Background checks on all current hotel staff who've interacted with Emma complete. No major red flags. But one name keeps coming up with hostile behavior. Tina Walters. Ethan replied quickly. "Monitor. Don't engage. Let's keep our focus on Emma for now." The next morning, Emma entered the VIP floor and found a small white envelope taped to her locker. Her name was written in bold black ink. Inside was a typed note. "Your future matters. Apply here." Linked to Evanston School of Hospitality Management. Emma stared at the note in disbelief. There was no name, no sender. Just the link. She tucked it into her pocket and got to work, but her mind was racing. That same morning, Vanessa stood on the rooftop of her latest boutique in Los Angeles, shooting a promo video. She posed effortlessly, her team buzzing around her. But her phone kept vibrating with alerts. Comments on her latest post were starting to turn. One read, "Not as classy as she acts. Some people remember the mud, Vanessa." Another, "A little kindness goes a long way. Try it sometime." Vanessa's smile twitched. "Casey," she snapped, calling her assistant. "Get whoever's behind this smear campaign. I want names. Now." Casey looked nervous. "It's not organized. It's just spreading. People are talking." Vanessa clenched her jaw. Something was unraveling, and for the first time, she didn't feel in control. Back in Chicago, Emma finished her shift and stopped at a small community library. She typed the link from the note into a computer. It led to the application page of the Evanston program. A scholarship banner appeared at the top of the site. Special sponsorships available for underrepresented workers in hospitality. At the bottom, it read, "Funded in part by Brooks Foundation." Emma's heart skipped. She clicked through slowly, unsure if it was meant for her, but something in her gut said this wasn't a coincidence. She spent the next hour filling out the application. Her hands trembled. It felt like daring to dream for the first time in years. That night, Ethan reviewed her submission quietly from his home office. His assistant looked over his shoulder. "You're really doing this for her?" Ethan nodded. She doesn't even know it yet, but she's the kind of person who should be leading, not scrubbing floors to survive. You could just tell her, the assistant said. Ethan leaned back. Not yet. People like her? They deserve to stand on their own feet. I'm just clearing the path. Meanwhile, Vanessa lay awake in her hotel suite, unable to sleep. On the side table sat another envelope. No one saw who left it. Inside was a printed article from a small local blog. The title, Cleaner's Kindness Outshines Fashion Queen's Cruelty. And underneath, the splash heard around Chicago may be the wake-up call someone needed. Vanessa crumpled the paper, but she couldn't shake the feeling creeping into her chest. Something was catching up to her. And this time she couldn't outstyle it. 2 weeks later, Emma sat outside on a bench during her break, sipping a cheap coffee. The city buzzed in the background, and spring was slowly blooming in Chicago. Her phone buzzed, a new email. Subject, congratulations. From Evanston School of Hospitality Management. Dear Emma Davis, we are thrilled to inform you that you've been accepted into our fall program, with a full scholarship sponsored by the Brooks Foundation. Emma's breath caught in her throat. Her hands trembled as she reread the email over and over again. The scholarship was real. The school was real. Her name was on it. She covered her mouth, tears slipping past her fingers. The break room door creaked open behind her. It was Ms. Jackie, the older housekeeping supervisor who had taken Emma under her wing since her first day. You okay, baby? Emma nodded, voice cracking. I got in, and it's paid for. Jackie smiled wide, pulling her into a warm hug. Told you, you ain't meant to stay in these halls forever. Meanwhile, across the country in Los Angeles, Vanessa was walking out of a luxury spa when paparazzi surrounded her. At first, she posed automatically, chin tilted, hands on hips. But then one question cut through the noise. Vanessa, any comments on the article about Emma Davis? People are calling her the real star of Chicago. Her composure slipped for a second. She lowered her sunglasses. No comment, she muttered before getting into her SUV. Inside, she pulled out her phone. The article had gone viral. Comments flooded every platform. Emma Davis is a reminder that grace costs nothing. Brooks Hotel has a hidden gem. Vanessa could learn a thing or two. Vanessa Johnson should issue a public apology. That video was humiliating. She threw her phone on the seat beside her. Drive, she told her driver. To the airport. Back in Chicago, Emma packed up her few belongings in the staff locker room. Her acceptance had triggered a ripple through the hotel. Many of her coworkers congratulated her, even those who once ignored her. But not everyone was thrilled. Tina Walters leaned in close as Emma zipped her bag. Guess all it takes to win a scholarship is getting coffee spilled on you by a celebrity. Huh? Emma didn't rise to the bait. She smiled politely. Sometimes the worst days lead to the best ones. Tina scoffed and stormed out. That same afternoon, Ethan called Emma into his office. She stepped in nervously. He rarely summoned housekeepers. He stood by the window, hands in his pockets. I heard you've been accepted into Evanston. Emma blinked. Yes, sir. I just found out. Good, he said with a faint smile. I also wanted to let you know that once you're enrolled, you'll have a part-time internship here at the hotel. Managerial training. Paid. Emma's eyes widened. That's incredible. I don't know what to say. He walked over and shook her hand. Just promise me you'll run this place better than I ever could. Someday. That night, Vanessa checked into a quiet boutique hotel in Chicago, far from the flashy venues she usually preferred. No press, no cameras, just her, a heavy conscience, and a growing urge to right something she'd clearly gotten wrong. She looked out over the city skyline and finally asked her assistant, Do you know where Emma works? Casey nodded slowly. At the Brooks Hotel. But she's about to leave. Vanessa exhaled. Then I need to find her before she's gone.